Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Unstoppable Marketer Podcast. With me, as always, on his phone, is Mark Goldhart, my lovely co-host.
Yes.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm going to get a clip of me introducing and you just on your phone every
time.
We're just going to get a clip of it. But you're not anymore.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I just put
For
it
those of
away.
you who are just listening.
I just put it away.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great.
You ready for the holidays?
No,
Okay.
not really. But, I just show up.
Your wife gets ready for the holidays on your behalf?
She is all in on the holidays.
I mean, I'm all in on the holidays too, but my wife is the one who does, like, she gets the presents, she does the shopping, she
does the things.
She now like I think even this year she just like decorated the tree. Like we used to have like a tradition of us doing it, and she just like the kids are in school and she just wanted it up.
So she did it.
My wife is like very not quite one track mind, but like the moment she just like
When she decides,
when she gets something in her
decides.
brain, she's like, hey, we got to figure this out now.
Yeah.
Like right now, And so if it's like, hey, I want Christmas set up,
Interesting.
Christmas gets set up. So I don't think like the last maybe 2 Christmases I put an ornament on our tree. I've lifted our kid up to put the star on the tree.
Nice.
That's what I did this year. But
My kids like to steal my beanie. And they put my beanie as the star,
the star on the tree. Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, those 2 little gremlins.
I love it.
They'll steal things and throw them. And they started like throwing clothes in the tree the other day.
Yeah. We had our company Christmas party.
We did.
I planned that.
You did plan that.
Yeah.
I did not.
Reservation for dinner. That's about it.
Reservation? That was a lot of planning though.
No, it wasn't actually. It was a phone call.
Phone call. It's a lot.
Actually, it wasn't even phone. No, it was a phone call because it was over. I think
Well, and
if it's
also
over
we had to
5
order
people.
the rib.
Yeah. The steak
Oh, the steak. Yeah.
Yeah. pre-order. I did do that
So there's 2 phone calls.
for us. Yeah,
Look at that. Good job.
but that was great.
But no, I'm feeling great today. I went to the sauna.
Nice.
Went to the gym, I should say. They have a sauna. Did a 40-minute session in the sauna,
Nice.
which I think is kind of long. I think.
I don't know.
But
I mean, that sounds like a long time for me.
Yeah.
Like that would be rough. I like saunas, but that would be rough to sit in for 40 minutes. Personally.
yeah, it's not too bad.
Do you like stretch in there and stuff? Like get a stretch on, or are you just sitting there
I just sit there.
in your thoughts?
Just sit there in my thoughts. Yeah.
No device in there.
No device, no.
Okay.
No,
Pure, just unadult. That's all.
no
that's,
earphones, nothing.
You don't get that as a dad.
No.
Like just pure thoughts.
No, that's why it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great time. But the older I get, I now understand a little bit more of why like the old guys when you're young in the gym just like stroll into the sauna naked.
Oh yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Because our generation's still wearing like gym shorts and stuff in the sauna, and I'm sitting there in my gym shorts. I'm like, this sucks. I just want to be in a towel. You know?
Yeah, I'd say ours is like between like wearing a swimsuit or gym shorts or a towel. Never naked ever though.
No, never
Like
naked.
never would we do that.
No. But as a kid,
But-
man, I remember going to gyms and those old guys were walking around and you're like a kid going to the zoo.
I mean,
Like, what are we looking at?
boomers, right? Would you probably say boomers and above?
Trying to think. Yeah, maybe.
Most confident human beings naked.
Yeah, they don't care. They're
Yeah.
just strolling around.
Millennials and Gen Z, and we are not comfortable naked. But but
the
boomers
funniest
will
part-
walk in like they own the place.
Yeah, they
You
will.
know?
No shame.
Zero shame.
Which is ironic because society is, I would say, more sexualized now
Yes.
in terms of like media
Totally.
portrayals.
Yeah.
More, quote, supposedly, quote, more body positive.
Yeah.
But yet people, younger generations are so scared.
Yeah. That's
It's funny though. It's interesting to think about why that happened.
Yeah, it's really funny. Yeah,
like the funniest guy about the old guys in the sauna is that they would, or in the just in a locker room in general, right? They would stroll around naked with flip flops, but like also just have their towel over the shoulder.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you've got the towel, but it's over the shoulder, and they'll like stop and have full conversations with you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like as a kid, and even as an adult, like I started. There was like this, gym as a kid that I used to go to, and I remember as I got older, I would like. I went from like knowing all my friends like dads to seeing all my friends' dads naked because we all went to the same gym, and I just like talking about it, like, oh yeah, I saw your dad naked today, and he's like, oh cool, great, I also remember like when I was a kid, my parents used to drop us off. There was like this rec. It was like a gym, but a rec center. It had the pool, it had the gym, it had the steam, it had the sauna, it had the basketball courts and the racquetball courts. And it was like, in the summer, my parents would take 3 or 4 of my friends, drop us off at like 10 a.m. and then somebody would pick us up at like 5, and we'd literally just be there all day, and we'd swim, and then we'd sauna, and then we'd play basketball, and then we'd go play racquetball, and then we swim, and then we'd hot tub. I mean, you just like go back and forth from pool to pool, and my buddies and I, this is like one of my funniest memories of a steam room. My buddies and I.
How old are you?
I mean, we were 12 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't imagine much younger than that for my parents to just drop us off all day. Even 12 sounds insane.
You never know about the 90s.
Yeah. It's a different time. I would never do that with my kids nowadays, but not as much to worry about, I guess, back in the 90s. Or maybe there was, you just didn't have the media that told you.
Yeah, if my two boys were 12, 14, I'd drop them off.
14's different. 12 maybe. I only have a 10-year-old right now as my oldest, so I don't it's hard for me.
If it was my 2 boys, I would be less worried.
Both of them together.
Yeah.
So anyways, they drop us off, and my buddies and we were super rambunctious. We're always getting people who, like workers who'd be like, hey, you have to calm down. You can't run in the locker rooms, blah, blah, blah. And we must have been playing tag or hide and seek or something like that. And I went.
You were 12 playing hide and seek? Are you sure?
Yeah, man. Why not? That's not too crazy if you think about it. My like 10-year-old who's almost 11, like they play those games.
Hide and seek?
Yeah.
At 12?
Tag, hide and seek. But like hide and seek becomes different. It's like hide and seek is very, very, very kiddish, but then you start to have like maybe more of like the gamification of hide and seek. That's kind of like how it's like how it starts to become. Anyways, whatever. Beyond the story. We're playing some sort of game where we're trying to find each other, and I went in the steam room, and I went up on the there's always like benches, like levels, and the higher you get, the hotter it gets. And so I got up to the very top in the corner, like they're not going to see me, and usually when you walk into a steam room, like you can't, depending on how steamy it is, like you'll see an image, you'll see a silhouette of somebody, but you cannot see that, I wouldn't know that's Mark per se, and he must have saw me go in that area, and I go in there and my buddy busts in and he's like, dude, I know you're in here. And you know how there's always a hose in the steam room? To cool yourself down. He grabs the hose, turns it on, and when I had got in, there was another dude, like a naked dude, butt naked dude. I'm in this corner, he's in this corner on the opposite side. He had a newspaper with him. I don't know how he's reading in the steam room, but he's reading a newspaper or a magazine, and my buddy gets the hose and just starts drenching the guy because he's thinking it's me, and he just starts spraying this naked, probably 60-year-old dude. Ruins his
with cold water,
ice cold water. Ruins the newspaper, and the guy's like, "You mother effers!" And he just like butt naked chases us out, dude. This guy almost.
So now you're getting chased by a naked guy.
Yeah, and we're all wet in our swimsuits, so we're like sliding around the floor, like trying to get away from this guy. And he almost, as a naked human being, ran out into the pool area. Like he stopped the moment he got to like that pool door, like out of it a step, and then like probably recognized what was going on and
where he was and that he was naked.
And it's like, that's one of my funniest memories, dude, of this sauna steam kind of situation. Great. It was awesome.
Oh, that is a good one.
But speaking of saunas, so are you going to become the type of guy who's going to now get a $3,000 cold plunge and post about cold plunges and saunas? Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
Okay.
I just can't. How do you... I live in Utah. We live in Utah. How do you justify paying that much for a cold plunge? Like, you can just fill up a cattle trough with water in your backyard and just sit in it.
Yes. I can answer this question.
Or just go buy a used locker, like what are they called? Not a stand-up freezer, but the locker style freezers.
Deep freezer.
Yeah, just go buy one of those and fill it up with water.
Well, let me.
Wouldn't that cost $300?
Let me educate you, if I could.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you can if you want.
Yeah. So, for
allow it.
couple reasons, my wife decided last year that she wanted to cold plunge,
Okay.
and so she bought a portable cold plunge, which is
Okay.
essentially roughly what you're saying, right? But it was, it's more of the like softer material that has poles in it, like a tent, and so you can kind of like fold it up and store it and all that kind of stuff. And we bought it for like $100,
Okay.
and it worked great throughout the entirety of the winter. But then, if you want to do that in the summer, you're paying $3-4 every day for ice to do a cold plunge.
Why? Why would you pay that much for ice?
Because that's about how much it costs in ice to get it to the temperature it needs to be to make it effective.
I refuse to believe that.
I know that as a fact. We did it.
Where are you buying the ice?
Gas station.
Why would you not
Costco.
Why would you not just fill up a bucket of water and freeze it?
I guess it depends on how big like we don't have that kind of space for freezers, like in our freezer. So I guess we could have done that.
Yeah, that's what you should do.
So you could do that if you've got the space for it, but you'd need like those like big ice cream tub.
Yeah, like a 2-gallon,
Yeah.
3 gallons
Yeah.
worth of ice. You would do it.
Yeah, so you could definitely do that. So nonetheless, like there is, I think, some inconvenience to that. So that's one. That's one of the many. Now that's one of three.
Filling up a bucket and putting it in the freezer. I mean, assuming you have space.
That's one of three reasons. Okay. The second reason, for those of you who don't know this about me, I am a pool master. I know the chemicals of pools. I have a pool. This is something I've gotten very into.
Okay.
And water.
Is that a term? Pool master? Are you self-anointing right now? I don't what is this?
Possibly. I don't know the answer. We'll get our fact checker over here who's going to check things out for us.
A
I
pool
am
master?
a pool master when it comes to chemicals and pH levels and
Okay.
et cetera, et cetera. And cold plunge water gets extremely disgusting. And in the summer, it's not that crazy to fill and, to like change it. But in the winter, that can be, you open yourself up to a lot of risk when you turn on those hose bibs in Utah. And potentially having your pipes freeze if you don't correctly remove them every time you do it, which could end up being significantly more damage-wise than just buying a cold plunge. We don't have one, by the way. We haven't spent the $3,000 on one.
But again, it still doesn't answer my point. You can get a freezer for
That's
$500.
different. Yeah, if you could
Water filter for a big fish tank for probably $300. And you're there.
maybe.
I mean, that's all you need.
Yeah, maybe with the water filter. I haven't really thought about anything like that. I don't know where you'd put it. And
They're on sale right now at Petco for $145.
water filters?
Also, pool master, that term doesn't exist. The closest thing would be a swimming pool service technician.
I'm a swimming pool service technician.
Another Winnie the Pooh meme moment there.
Just trying to make it sound cool.
Swimming pool, what service technician?
I'm a maintenance man.
No, I am a pool master.
What was I gonna say?
That is funny.
What I've done though is I now, because this is even easier. I don't know if it has the exact same effect, but ever since we had Brett Curry on, remember Brett?
Yeah.
The
YouTube master.
OMG Commerce YouTube marketing agency, if you're interested.
We're just gonna start throwing master at the end of.
Yeah,
titles.
he's the Google.
He's the YouTube
master.
Yeah.
Agency master. He said cold showers just do the same thing.
Yes, I've heard that. I've heard in terms of just the effect, and I've also heard it doesn't actually have to be that cold.
Yeah, it's like 52 degrees.
Yeah,
I think, as long as it's under 52
it's not nearly
degrees.
as cold as I thought.
Yeah, 52 degrees, or it's 52, 55 or something like
Which
that.
still feels, I mean, that's not pleasant,
Yeah.
but it's not 37 degrees.
Yeah, but 52 degrees is so much different than 30 degrees. And 30 degrees is so much different than 10. I thought that like once it was cold, it just was cold. But it's crazy.
Oh, yeah, there's
But now,
levels.
but that's what I do. Every day I do a cold shower. So I'll do like when I'm washing my parts, I'm in hot water.
Okay.
And then for 2 minutes straight. Cold.
Straight cold.
Yep, as ice cold as it will go. I haven't checked the temperature though.
Have you checked your IQ? Has it gone up?
Yeah, I'm a lot smarter as a pool master.
Yeah, as a pool
I'm coming
master.
up with new names for pool service technicians. So yeah.
Yeah, I think saunas. I mean, look, these are all things that have been around for a while. I've actually put a little thought, probably too much thought, in ice baths and cold water and all the benefits of it. And I think, well, you know, I mean, if we're talking about like human evolution, the only water sources were generally cold, right? So like if you wanted to take a bath, you were in a river.
Yeah, I guess unless you're in like the Atlantic Ocean area.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the ocean is kind of warm, I guess, on the Atlantic side.
On the Atlantic side.
I don't know what it
or
was
Gulf,
like in like the 1600s.
Gulf sides, Atlantic sides.
But generally, you're going to be in cold water naturally.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that there was some kind of symbiotic relationship there. This is good for you,
Yeah.
right? Not to mention all the hard minerals that come out of hot water and just, you know, if you don't have soft water,
Yeah.
hard water is bad for you.
Yeah.
Hot water just blasting your skin, drying it out. So it
Yeah.
makes sense. Makes sense why your body would react positively to cold water. But why is it that everything that's good for you is unpleasant? Have you ever thought about that?
I actually think about this often.
Why?
I think about it because
Why would evolution not make the things that are good for you pleasant? Why would you not enjoy them more?
I could get potentially religious with my response.
Well, don't.
I don't.
I'm just kidding. What's your opinion? Why does everything suck? It's true, right? It
Well,
feels
what-
good after, but there's always suffering before the reward.
Well, you could have this like, hey, without suffering, you don't have the like. One can't exist without the other. First of all,
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
Yeah, maybe. Perhaps that is a universal law.
but secondly, the reason why I mean I don't have the reason why, but the reason why I'm thinking about it all the time is because I'm experiencing this with my kids right now, which is, for example, my son doesn't want to practice sports because he's not good at some sports. You know, when you first start something, you're not good at it. So, like, let's say you're in love with the game of football. The first time somebody picks up a football and tries to run plays or catch a fly when you're running this way and the ball's, you know, like, that's hard to do.
Are there flies?
Like a fly route?
Oh,
You know what I mean? You're a football player. You know what a fly route is?
I don't think a fly is. I don't think there is a fly route.
There is a fly route.
Is there?
Yeah, fly route is just straight far. What would you call that? What would they call that in? What'd you call just a route where you're just straight? You got posts, you got slants, you got curls,
You got a post. You got a fade.
you got a fade. What is it just a straight? You got a button hook. What is just a straight?
I don't know.
It's a fly.
A streak? A fly?
It's a fly route.
Is it?
It's a fly route.
Maybe they changed the terms when I was.
I'm actually really nervous now because
No, it's true. Fly route, pattern run, where the receiver runs straight upfield towards the end zone.
That's a fly route.
Fly route, or
let's go.
It can also be called a streak route.
Nice.
But
Okay.
both of them are right.
So
It's
we're
a
both
tie.
right. Yeah, it's a tie.
It's a tie.
Anyways, that's one of the harder catches, right?
Mm-hmm. No, not really, but yeah.
For me, it was.
A fly route?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because oftentimes when you're running straight, if the quarterback is throwing it, if you're on the right edge and the quarterback is going to throw it so it's more to your left, it's a lot easier catch. Right, but if that ball is going on the right edge and you're going to catch the ball like this,
Well, you're
that's a
talking like
challenge.
if you actually have to turn your head.
yeah. That's what I mean. It could be a very, very challenging. So what I'm trying to say is my son doesn't want to practice and just thinks he should be good. And the what I'm trying to help him understand is like, hey,
Is that he's white?
exactly. Things would be different, bud. No, but what I'm just trying to tell him is like, hey, practicing sucks, but sports gets really, really fun the moment you start to like things start to click and you start to connect and you're good at it. Like, it sucks to go play basketball and miss every single shot. It's really fun when you make them. How do you make them? You gotta do the hard work. So I didn't answer your question. I answered one of your questions, which is why are you talking about it? Why are you thinking about it?
Yeah. But yeah, there's always a risk reward, or you have to actually like work through something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just interesting. I don't know. Like, if vegetables are so good for you, you'd think they'd taste better. Meat tastes good. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's not good for you though.
Yeah, they're liars though.
Yeah, I agree.
They're
With that.
liars.
Clean meats.
Yeah. Red meat's great.
In certain quantities,
But I don't even know if that's true. But
in moderation.
I mean, in certain quantities, just because, I don't know, maybe population's really just too big. So you can't have that much red meat just because it's kind of hard to produce it. But I don't know. I think I could be a carnivore. I think I could do the carnivore diet and be fine. I also think I could live off of raw milk. So,
Yuck.
like, I
Yuck.
think I could go a whole week and only have raw milk and just be fine.
That'd be disgusting.
Okay, I have a question for you both though, real quick. Do you think it's because you were saying that everything that's good is like unpleasant or hard?
Everything that's good for you.
Everything that's good for you. Do you think that that's changed over the years though? People's tolerance to what's bad and good for them? Like, I think about cave people. I don't think that they even knew, like, I don't think that anything was necessarily
Are we calling them
Or
cave people
pleasure.
now, not cavemen?
cavemen. Well,
We have to be inclusive here.
Yeah, okay.
So thank you, Abby.
Inclusive.
Yeah.
cave members.
Well, isn't that inclusive? We're just saying that it was only men that were that dumb to live in caves, right?
humans.
Cave people.
Yeah, do you
Yeah.
think that they just didn't, I don't know, do you think that they even thought, like, oh, this is good for me, and it's going to be awesome once this is over? Or it was just life? That was just
No, it's absolutely, that's just life, right? So
Yeah.
if you look at, I mean, the stereotypical first world problem. I mean, if you go to Africa or if you go to super poor countries in Africa, there's some pretty modern places in Africa.
Yeah.
but-
If anyone
you
in
go-
Africa heard me, or
yeah.
if anyone heard me talk about how challenging it is to get $2 worth of ice for a night, they'd
They'd be
think I was an absolute
moron.
idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to places that are truly poor in this world, they don't complain about the same things we complain about. Like, they're just happy to eat sometimes. So they're not complaining that they don't get more ice cream or like that their sweeteners might give them Alzheimer's.
But with that said, I do think that they probably, like anyone, anywhere, no matter what the circumstances, that principle still is true, right? Hard things make you better.
Well, hard things make you better, but yeah. And like, why is it just that, I just want things to be good for me and easy.
SEX.
That'd be great. Hard to get though.
That's true. That's very true. But you just wish it was easier. Who doesn't, I guess.
Well, some people.
Yeah.
Some people.
Yeah.
AI is changing that.
What's that?
AI is changing that for people, unfortunately. Weird world.
Yeah.
Or fortunately. I don't know. Whatever.
Whatever you're into.
Whatever you're into.
I guess so.
But speaking about
what are we talking about?
Moral ambiguity.
Yeah. That's a good transition.
Yeah, it is. We are in digital marketing. Something that I've been thinking about is there seems to be a little bit of a haughtiness to marketers that oftentimes they think they're a little bit more sophisticated or better than salespeople, which is funny because it's like kind of just the same thing, right? Just different mediums of selling.
Getting someone to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've seen some comments kind of trashing salespeople for doing outbound emails or cold calls and, oh, how dare these people annoy me, right? Which is just ironic because, as digital marketers, we're just using brainwashing and hacking techniques to like infiltrate people's minds.
Yes. To do the same thing.
To do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're actually salespeople are like technically maybe more ethical about it, right? Like
I mean, at least you know what
hey,
they're doing.
I'm calling to sell you something right
Yeah.
now. Will you buy it? No.
We're like,
okay. Sorry
we're
to
not
annoy
trying
you.
to sell you something. We're trying to influence your emotional state of being.
Well, it's like it's like the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
It's like I need to go buy milk. Most people go to the grocery store to buy milk. So where do you put the milk?
Yeah.
In the very, very back. Why do you put it in the very, very back? To get people to buy everything else.
Exactly.
Oh, I needed gum. Oh, I needed vegetables. Oh, I needed rice. Oh, I needed sugar. Next thing you know, you don't leave with your $4 gallon of milk. You leave with $54 worth of stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. So, like, is it ethical or is it moral? I don't know. I'm not here to make any solid claims. I just think it's ironic to think about it that way because sometimes we know that social media can be horrible, especially for the youth.
Mm-hmm.
And it has some positive things too. Sometimes people are alone and it's easier to socialize online. And so there's some positive, there's some negative. It's like a tool, like any tool. Social media can be used for good and bad.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think about the moral implications of advertising on digital cigarettes. And what I mean by that is like, it's just these dopamine hits that people get on social media. And social media is designed to be addicting. That is what it is designed to do. I think we should just be honest about that. TikTok is designed to be a digital dopamine casino. Yeah. And people stay and they get addicted and we're advertising on there.
Yeah, it's got such bad social media does have such a bad rap and so many bad implications. Obviously, we've established that it can do good as well. But for the most part, like you can make an argument around that like social media has made mankind worse.
Yeah, it just depends on what slant you want to take.
Totally.
I mean, I don't know if it's made mankind worse. I think it's a lot easier to say it's clearly had negative impacts on behaviors in youth.
Totally. Which then
based off of like how they report life satisfaction.
But social media has been around for so long now that those youth are now becoming
adults.
Yeah. Right. And so that has now. I was lucky enough not to really have social media as a youth.
Well, that's because the iPhone didn't even exist.
I had MySpace.
It existed. Yeah. So social media existed.
Yep.
Quote in quotes, but you had to be at a family computer to use it.
Yeah.
Very different than jumping on your own phone and getting cyberbullied or being the cyberbully or doing things you shouldn't be doing at that age.
So what's the question here?
It's not a question or a specific answer. I think it's an exploration.
Yep.
The question is, what are the moral implications or what is the ethical obligation as marketers that we should try to operate underneath.
So I
And I need to go pee, so.
told you to
Pause.
go before.
I know, I told you. I did.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Bestie. Bestie is the first ever AI-powered post-purchase survey platform. Bestie is revolutionizing the way you understand your customers. Are you uncertain about what motivates your customers to choose your products? Unsure how customers are discovering your brand or which marketing channels are most effective in driving sales to your website? Or do you know how long it takes your customers to make a purchase decision? Look no further because Bestie is the ultimate solution for you. With Bestie's cutting-edge AI feature, you can effortlessly create comprehensive surveys in just a matter of seconds without the need for any of your valuable time. And that is not all. Bestie's automated insights will regularly provide you with actionable information week over week, giving you the tools to drive your business forward. Now, with the holiday season in full swing, there is no better time to start gathering valuable customer data. Bestie is offering an exclusive 30% discount for Q4 alongside a 14-day free trial. Do not miss out on this opportunity to supercharge your business and truly get to know your customers. As e-commerce owners and agency owners ourselves, we use Bestie every single day to help us make better decisions on how we communicate, acquire, and grow our customers. Visit Bestie AI or check out apps.shopify.com/bestie today to secure your Q4 pricing. Don't wait. Start making data-driven decisions with Bestie today.
So let me first begin this conversation with a comment that my brother-in-law made to me when I first met him before he was my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law, who decided to, as he was getting to know me, I was already married into this family, he said, "What do you do, Trevor? What do you want to do?" And I think I was in school, and I said, "Well, I'm going into marketing." Maybe I was in marketing, and I was like, "I'm in marketing." And he looked at me like dead straight in the eyes, and he's like, "Oh, I hate marketers." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I just didn't know what to say because I'm like, I just told you that's like walking up to a girl and being like, "I hate women." You know, like I see that you're a woman, and I'm telling you I hate you. It's like, I'm in marketing. I hate marketers. You know. And so I was just kind of like shocked. So I didn't really say anything. And he's like, "Yeah, I just think marketing is just super unethical and it's all propaganda. And I think it's bad." And then he left it at that. And I just didn't really say anything back to him. I was like, "Oh, okay." So I have since that's now a funny thing. Like if he doesn't listen to this because he's a doctor and he doesn't care about this kind of stuff. But
Oh, he's a doctor.
well, he's a nurse practitioner.
Cool.
So,
Big pharmaceutical guy.
yeah, big pharmaceutical guy dealing those drugs. Anyways, I've since kind of like, what is the definition of propaganda versus marketing ethics? And what I've learned, what the internet tells me, the World Wide Web, is propaganda. I think if I remember right, the definition of propaganda is convincing somebody to do something based on non-factual things. So based on untruths.
Technically.
Yeah, if you look up the technical, like Webster, whatever definition, that's what it is. Where if you look up the definition, you can type in like ethical marketing. It's kind of like takes that same thing of when you give people information that is true to influence them. So in the most simplistic way.
To influence them.
Yes. To influence somebody to act.
Okay.
To take an action. So to me, that is like the most simplistic way to like break apart, like to talk about ethics versus non-ethics. Now, I don't think sales is unethical. I am not the type of person like what you said, who everybody's like, sales is worse than marketing. I don't believe that because I subscribe to the same theory.
Perhaps it's a little more confrontational.
Yeah, because it's more direct.
Yeah.
Right? Where marketing is more like what is inadvertent? Is that the word I'm looking for? You know?
Yeah, or
It's
just
like-
indirect.
Yeah, indirect. That's a better word, I guess. So yeah,
Well, it
to
can
me-
be direct. It can
Yeah,
be, depending on the campaign, the style, right? Like you might not be necessarily trying to sell someone something.
Yeah.
But you are trying to influence them towards your brand or your product.
So how about this? Like, so now that we've kind of established that as like a technical definition of what unethical marketing is versus what ethical marketing is, let's talk like what are your thoughts about influencer marketing? So let me give you a situation. I'm a influencer. Let's say I'm an influencer, right?
Okay.
People think I'm really fashionable,
Okay.
really stunning and handsome, right?
Okay.
And a company comes to me and says, Athletic Greens comes to me and says, hey,
Is your social profile all around pool master? How
Yeah.
do you
at the pool master,
at the pool master?
at the pool master TC,
It's just videos of you cleaning pools,
shirtless.
shirtless.
Yes. Because remember, I'm beautiful in this world and
Okay.
I'm very physically fit.
Scooping up leaves,
Leaves, putting
pH
chemicals
balancing
in
the
there.
water.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cleaning up towels. So, anyways, if Athletic Greens comes to me and says, hey, we want you to talk about how healthy this is and what it does for you. But what if I was already healthy? And what if I'd already been taking a greens, but this company comes to me and pays me $10,000 a month to talk about Athletic Greens? Is that ethical? Because we know obviously this happens all the time.
Yeah, obviously it happens all the time. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying that it's unethical.
In the definition term, though.
Well, no, here's the thing. It is unethical if you are making claims about it to yourself.
This is how I lost.
That's unethical.
My
But if
weight.
you are saying this is Athletic Greens and it's great for you, because
Sure.
because scientifically speaking,
Yeah.
it's good for you.
It's
You
got
need
the
these
vegetables,
nutrients,
it's got-
whatever.
Yeah.
Then no. But if you are saying this is my number one greens that I take every single day, when you aren't, now does the audience know that? No, but clearly there's a
Yeah.
ethical boundary there.
Yeah. And I think you're seeing this with a lot of people. I bring up influencers because that to me, like obviously there is a very fine line that if somebody, puts an ad, like if Athletic Greens were to put an advertisement out, I don't know why we're picking on Athletic Greens, put an advertisement out that says if you take this, you'll lose
No, they don't.
50 pounds, that would be wrong.
Yeah, but
Right.
they're just saying here's your 70. I think it's 70 plus essential nutrients,
I have no idea.
which is what they have in there.
Yeah. But the reason why I like to bring up the influencer side of things is because you as a brand oftentimes can lose control over how other people are talking about you.
Sure.
And you see this happening a ton right now. Like for example, we have a client right now who is in the beauty skincare world, and they have a very big presence on YouTube, and tons of people are talking about them, and they are paying people to talk about them, which is an that's an
Advertising channel for
active
them.
advertisement. That's an advertising channel. And I was watching one of their most recent videos and I was reading the comments, right? Cause I'm a big, that's the way that oftentimes Mark and I will get good content ideas, good messaging ideas is to see what people are saying, and I couldn't help but to notice how many people were saying things like, this is clearly an advertisement. How can we trust that you actually use
you
this?
actually use it, yeah.
And you're seeing that a lot more as every year goes by. You see more and more of that kind of comments. You hear more and more people talking about that.
Well, that's just part of the many. There's a few factors at play, but that's part of the reason why influencer marketing isn't what it used to be.
Yeah, because
People have
were
caught
so
on.
quick to believe and
Yeah.
trust, and hey, this person is famous, therefore what they're saying is true.
Yeah, and then now they're kind of understanding that maybe just because someone says something, it's not really what they mean.
Yeah.
in that advertisement.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what's the difference between manipulating someone and convincing somebody?
I don't know. I don't know if I have a good answer for this. Because the word manipulation just has a negative connotation to it.
Yeah.
However, I'd be lying if I didn't say that from time to time I embellished a story to manipulate my point, which was a true point. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I'm the only person who's done that.
Yeah. So like the means justified the end.
For the greater good.
It's a slippery slope. That's like
It can be a very slippery
the origin story of every Marvel villain.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
If I just do these evil things, it'll be good in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanos.
Yeah.
Just got to bring balance to the universe. I just got to kill half of them. But the resources
Yeah.
will be extended, whatever his whole thing was.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I don't know what the actual definition... Are you looking up the definition of manipulation? Is that what you got there?
No,
Curious to know what the definition of manipulation is.
Well, I do know that there's synonyms. And that manipulate has a negative connotation to it.
Yep.
But I don't think it's truly has a negative definition.
It isn't always negative, yeah.
So it says,
I think Abby's got it here. Go ahead.
So I pulled up marketing manipulation
Oh.
and an example of that. So marketing manipulation deals with the tactics and strategies used by marketers that prey on human cognitive, social, and memory-based biases, ultimately influencing consumer behavior in their favor. And then an example of this is a clothing store might advertise 50% off, but then in the fine print it says if you buy 3 items over $20.
Interesting.
well, the Oxford definition of manipulate is handle or control in a skillful manner. Or 2, control or influence a person or situation cleverly, unfairly, or unscrupulously.
Okay, so it could be... So it has the clever way is the okay way. Unfairly is where things get a little dodgy. Dodgy?
Depends on how you define unfair. But we don't have to go down that rabbit hole today.
No.
But yeah, so manipulate or convince, right? Is a lawyer in a courtroom manipulative or convincing?
Yeah, I think that I think that they're the same. I think that they're probably one and the same word.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's convincing just sounds better.
Yeah, convincing, I think, it maybe has a connotation that it's based off of conveying something truthful.
Yeah.
Where manipulative is ambiguous. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily... You can be skillful and truthful or skillful and deceitful.
Yeah.
And you're trying to bend it towards your will, right? But convincing also is that. So I think at the end of the day, though, when you're advertising, you have to realize that a lot of advertising techniques do, quote, as Abby said, prey on people's biases, right? And psychological behaviors. And so as you are trying to connect with people, you will naturally be playing into how do you make a connection? We talk about that all the time. You're making connections with people. Are you doing it in a way that's ethical? And I think, to sum it up, as long as you are being truthful, then it is, because life, you are constantly being manipulated or convinced in life.
With your time.
With your time,
How
or
do you
just
spend your time?
even without advertising.
Yeah.
If you're with people and you interact in the human world, you are constantly being manipulated or convinced by other people about what they think. You are being subjected to right? Biases around, peer pressure. Oh, all these people are doing this, but I'm not. Like, maybe I should do this.
Yeah.
Like, that just all happens organically and naturally, and that's just part of life. So I don't think there's anything ethical to say that using those same things, I don't think it's an ethical question to say, like, you can't use those same things in advertising.
Tactively try to convince people.
Correct.
Now, yeah, I think what another good example of this manipulation, right? Because I think that examples are probably the best way for people to, if you're taking this conversation seriously, which I hope you are, like, examples are always good to understand like this kind of difference. I think that there's probably a good fine line, which is truthful. Like, as long as you're being truthful, you're probably okay, right? But one thing that I've seen happen, you saw it happen a lot over Black Friday. I don't know if you noticed this, but if you were on TikTok, you probably saw video footage of people at Target. I think it was Target that this was happening.
Yeah, where they're pulling off the stickers.
Yes,
for Black
and so
Friday.
it's like, hey, 50% off, and it would say 50% off now, $6.99 rather than $12.99, and then they'd pull that little, like, how it like slides into the metal thing,
Yeah.
and they'd pull it, and it was always $6.99. But there's just so much products like that people aren't really paying attention to it, and that was happening a lot. Now that's manipulation in the negative way, right? In the wrong way. And so,
and stores do this all the time, right? Where they will claim you're getting a discount when you're not.
yep,
The price has always been $60,
yeah,
but they'll have a strikeout price of $80.
yep. Amazon got in trouble for this over Amazon Prime Day. Do you remember that?
No.
Happened. I think I believe Amazon Prime Day was normally in June or July, and now they have like 2 or 3 a year. But I think it was this summer that happened, and there was a FTC like legal case brought up against them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If I recall, I could be wrong. Maybe it's worth us looking up, but I'm pretty sure that happened because they were doing the same thing, saying strike through prices on this. It was I can't remember if it was the Amazon Basics line that they were doing it with.
Besides just being a good person, what is the incentive for brands to stay truthful?
Yeah,
Because guess what? Like, you could make arguments. Well, technically, I could price this at $80, but I'm going to just put it at $60.
one thing that I'm learning, I'm glad you brought this.
And the conversion rate's going to go up.
Yep.
So there's going to be ways to justify that. So the question is it what's the incentive for a brand to say, well, maybe I shouldn't try to find the ambiguity in everything, and I should try to be more of a straight shooter, so to speak? So
I think that truth in COVID introduced us. This is going to be opinions from Trevor right now.
to a lab originated virus.
Exactly.
Is what it introduced us to.
Do I have permission? Do I have permission to get into the Trevor opinion and Trevor doctrine here? Do I have your consent?
What are you getting into? I don't know.
Well,
Both
do
of
I-
them
do I
at
have
the
your
same time?
consent? Yeah. What I'm saying here is I think back in COVID, with what happened to the media, you had this presidential election, and the media started, mankind started to question things that the media, the government were telling us. I think a lot of people always have.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But it became more mainstream to be like, hey, maybe Fox News and
distrust
CNN.
of the media went to an all-time high.
Exactly.
Is what
Yeah.
you're talking
like
about.
I used to be somebody who
Which that is certified Pew Research.
totally. I
Material.
used to be somebody who just like I never totally trusted everything that I saw in the media, but I also never thought twice about it too.
Right.
I heard this and cool, And
Where
now
I, on the other hand, never trusted. the
and
media.
now on the other, like now I trust basically nothing, and I'm, and I've probably a lot of people would deem me as a conspiracy theorist now,
Yeah.
because I'm just so I think this
Who
opened
shot
up.
JFK?
No one.
No one?
I just kidding. I don't know. I'm not that deep into conspiracy theories. Not that deep. But what I'm trying to say is,
Did we land on the moon?
I was a firm believer that we did.
You
I
were
am now not a firm believer that we did.
really, you're not a firm believer.
I'm not a firm believer. I'm not a believer, but it used to bug me so much. I had a buddy named Alex, and he would talk about, I mean, this was back in like middle school. He's like, this is why we haven't. I mean, he was deep into it. And I was like, you're an idiot. That is like, how can you not be American and believe that we landed on the moon? That was like my argument. It's like, that's the most American thing to believe in. And now I don't as much. I'm very open to the possibilities that did not happen.
Wow.
Okay. So back to what I'm saying is trust, right? We're talking trust, brands. How do we, is it important to be trustful and to be more transparent? I think that now the way that communities and brands are building their brand is based on a lot of trust. I think that could be can be a core principle to, hey, you know what? For example, Athletic Greens. You know what? There's a ton of other there's a ton of other green drinks out there that can get you what you need, and you'll be just fine. But this is why you should work with us. Like a statement like that is like almost like, wait, you're saying that I can get this other places? That like I actually like these kind of transparent, truthful statements because it opens up a different thought process and it just changes the paradigm of how most brands do talk to you. We're the best and this is why. One of like mine and Mark and I own a marketing agency, and one of the like biggest lines I say anytime, we don't bring a ton of clients on. We're not that kind of agency. We're boutique. We only work with specific types of people and to specific types of brands in the e-commerce space. But 9 times out of 10, anytime I'm talking to one of these brands, is I say, there are so many great agencies out there. And you can find what we do in a lot of places. And like the moment I say that, it's almost like I've never heard an agency owner say that before. Like every agency owner talks about how they're the best. And it opens up like a whole new dialogue. And our close rate is well over 85, 90% because we're just like super, super truthful and transparent. So to me, transparency can be a key pillar to building a brand in a good way, even though you might be willing to admit that there are other solutions that people can get to solve their problems.
Yeah, there's a million solutions, but it's just being honest.
Yeah.
Well, I think it just goes to the incentive of being truthful is if you're trying to build something, you always have to pay the piper eventually. And eventually the debt is due. So if you're being dishonest, people will catch on and know that you're being dishonest.
Totally.
Like if you're always on discount, you're now a discount brand.
Yeah.
And people view you as such. So if you ever raise your prices, it's not going to go well. Mm-mm. So it's always going to catch up to you eventually. So you should always be honest and transparent. And that's not to say you can't use techniques and psychology to better display your message and to advertise to your customers and your audience. But I think as long as you are on the truthful line and your intent is there, then you can make mistakes, right? I'm not saying you're not going to make a mistake along the way, but that's how you do it. So if you're being truthful, then I think you can use the science behind human behavior and human buying psychology in your favor.
I agree.
Right? It does get a little weird sometimes knowing how much you can convince people, not manipulate this time, of certain things or why they should do certain things or how to connect with them on an emotional level or how to catch them in an emotional state.
Totally. I mean, I think you brought this up. This is just like to echo, like you brought this up. I think it was maybe a couple podcast episodes ago, which was this is science back too. I think I'm hoping that if I ask this question right, you're actually going to be able to answer it. Who is the most susceptible type of person to buy and when?
Well, yeah. I was going to say it's the pregnant moms or a mom who had just postpartum.
just had a baby or is pregnant.
But other life events also matter. So
Totally.
if someone has just moved,
Yeah.
if someone has just bought a car, any big life change opens up a whole sea of change
Yeah.
for that person.
So is it wrong to
Which is why buying behavior in the
capitalize
holiday
on that?
season, for example, a lot of people go, oh, I'm only going to buy one thing.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to buy, this is my limit. I'm going to go buy this. But what happens is very often people will buy something and the one thing they knew they needed to get or the gifts that they needed to get, but then they're in an emotional state, right, of optimism or whatever you want to call it, where it's like, oh, actually, maybe I can start getting more things. Oh, I needed that. And then they start getting into the habit of saying yes to buying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the holiday season is a great buying season just because people are in the state of buying. So when we talk about the state of buying, it's really because the emotional state of people, it's not necessarily the sales quote. It's the state in which people are open to saying yes to purchases.
Yeah.
Same thing happens in life events or season changes. I mean, some of the best times for brands are when the seasons are changing.
Yeah.
Because people are
They're
open
changing outfits. They're
to changing outfits,
Yeah.
to getting into different
Yeah.
styles, whatever it might be.
What I tell a lot of, and a really good way for you guys to find this. So like sometimes it might be challenging to identify depending on the brand that what you sell. It might be challenging to identify what those emotional changes and state of minds are to capitalize on them. The motto I started to adopt, and this was like either in 2021 or like maybe early 2022, was chasing your conversion rates. So a conversion rate is oftentimes going to be a great indicator that it is a season of change potentially, or just a buying season. And that's when you can really, really double down on your marketing messaging, your marketing spend, your influencer outreach, your gifting outreach, whatever that might be. So chase those conversion rates, and that's how you can kind of capitalize on these moments that are really great opportunities for brands.
Totally. And maybe the next episode we'll go over all of the psychological definitions of human behavior and biases so that you guys can hack the brain and
That'd be a good
play
conversation.
people like little puppets out
That'd be a
there.
good conversation led by you. I'd be all right with that.
You know?
Yeah.
Teach people how to be puppeteers.
Pool master, puppet master.
Puppet master.
Yeah, exactly.
Puppet master is a term.
It is a thing.
That
But
is a
nope.
thing.
Say marketing master.
Marketing master.
Exactly.
Master.
Yeah.
Although, never mind. But
I like it.
interesting topic. So, when you get old, are you going to be a sauna guy?
Oh, a naked sauna guy. Because I like the sauna now, but I just don't have a gym. Because I'm an at-home gym guy.
You're just going to
But
be the old guy in the sauna?
Well, my wife and I are talking about putting a sauna in our house.
Saunas are great.
So we probably will in the next
I think I'll always be at least a towel
18
guy.
months. Yeah, I will never.
I don't know about being a
I mean, could you
towel over the shoulder guy.
Yeah, I never will be. I'll never be that guy. Ever. And if you are,
Good for you.
good for you. We're not saying anything bad. It might have sounded like we were saying bad things about you, but we're definitely not.
No,
We're
absolutely.
envious. We're envious of the confidence that you
Yeah,
have.
we are happy that you are proud of your body.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right,
All right. Let's close.
go.
Thanks, guys. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Please, if you're listening to this right now, if you can hear my words and you got to the end of this episode, please give us feedback on the podcast. We want it. DM me at the Trevor Crump. Say, hey, I listened to your podcast. I like it. I don't like it.
I listen to it. I don't like it.
Yeah. I'm the type of guy who walks around the sauna naked. Let me know. We just want to know more about what we can do to make this better. So please feel free to reach out at the Trevor Crump, TikTok, Instagram. Now the Unstoppable Marketer on YouTube.
Hey, we got a YouTube channel.
Have you subscribed yet? Yeah, boy. Subscribers are going up. Get on up there.
I will.
All right.
Today.
I appreciate it. I want the notification. LinkedIn, Trevor Crump. Let me know.
Go get it.
Please. All right. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Thank you so much for listening to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. Please go rate and subscribe the podcast, whether it's good or bad. We want to hear from you because we always want to make this podcast better. If you want to get in touch with me or give me any direct feedback, please go follow me and get in touch with me. I am at the Trevor Crump on both Instagram and TikTok. Thank you, and we will see you next week.